Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be doing some quick little love notes from your person. So this will be a message cards only reading, and there are 3 groups to choose from. Group 1 is this Smokey Quartz. Group 2 is the purple Fluorite. And group 3 is the Aventurine heart. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups, or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps for each group in the description box of the video if you would like to jump ahead. Hi, Group 1. You chose the Smokey Quartz. So I'm going to be getting 3 cards from 3 different decks. So let's see, what does your person want to tell you from their higher self? Group 1. And they say, my past is dark and weighs me down. So this person could be sitting through in some shadowy energy, confronting some shadows, trying to work through some things, work up the courage to reach out to you, maybe after some kind of a fight, something that was said, or some lack of action that took place in the past. Maybe fear held this person back. This can also really allude to some heartbreak or kind of some wounding from childhood, some fears about love that have really held them back from opening up fully to you and this connection. And they also say, I want to call you so bad. So if you're in no contact, this person is definitely on the brink of taking action, thinking about it, really desiring this, but again, maybe really held back by fear of rejection, some difficulties that they'd experienced in the past, maybe with some codependency or just some toxic relationships. And this feels like somebody who is in the process of really breaking out of these things. So any kind of hesitation on their part, it may really stem from a place of acknowledging that there are some things they need to work out within themselves in order to experience different results in love than they may have experienced in the past. So they could really be holding back at this time, fighting that urge to just jump into this, to just step into this connection, because they realize that there are some things that are coming up within them, some wounding that's coming up within them that really needs to be addressed first in order to kind of create the most optimal conditions for success in the long term in this connection. And they also say, you make me want to do better. So this can again refer to any kind of shadows that are coming up. This person may have really watched you kind of transcend some obstacles in your life, go through some kind of a glow up, maybe addressing some difficulties, some, kind of toxic or difficult relationship patterns or tendencies in your life, as far as love or even friendships, some issues with your family, that if they are able to see you from afar, they may have really recognized how you've stepped into your power. You've taken your power back from some of these circumstances or people. You're starting to assert yourself more, really practice self-love by not tolerating situations that are not very reciprocal. They're not really helping to uplift your vibration, kind of one-sided or very draining relationships. And so this person is really looking to you to kind of lead them, kind of leading by example. This is something where, maybe you don't have social media communications completely cut off with this person. There's no way for them to really have observed these changes in the 3D, in the physical reality. Then this is something that they're really sensing vibrationally. The work that you've put into yourself to really overcome maybe the state that you were in before when you were last dealing with this person. That can be changes that have taken place in terms of your physical body, in terms of, your spiritual self, your spiritual sense, maybe some emotional difficulties, some kind of psychological difficulties even that you have really transcended. And it's helping to, give this person hope that they can really take more control over circumstances in their life that have led to them feeling very out of control for the most part. So let me get some more messages for you, group 1. Let's see, what does this person want to say? Okay, and we have, I get scared if I'm being honest with you. So there's that energy of fear holding them back. Maybe fear of rejection, fear of loss, or fear of some of these shadowy components of this person, some woundings, or what they are imagining and envisioning as deficits within themselves. There's this fear that if they let you in, if they're too vulnerable, and you see this side of them, this part of them, kind of beyond that mask, beyond that very composed and together facade, that it's something that, they're feeling almost that it might diminish the love that you have for them, the attraction that you have for them. They're kind of scared that maybe some of the ways in which tendencies within them to show up in relationships, or some of, again, this kind of fear-based thinking, the ways in which this may have really compromised or acted in the detriment of previous connections, really operated as a wedge or a difficulty, even with friends or family. There's this element of really wanting to hold back, to not allow those kind of energies to seep into this connection more than they already have, out of the kind of this fear that to do so, to open that door completely, to let you in, to let you see all of them, the good, the bad, and the ugly, might have the result of really kind of making you lose interest in this connection, or that it would almost, this feels like somebody who feels that they might be too much to handle if you really knew the real them. And they also say, the thought of you with someone else drives me insane. So even if you are in a separation and no contact, and they're hesitating, they're not reaching out, they're allowing fear to hold them back, there is also this kind of this degree of really feeling that the two of you belong together. This sense within them that kind of these obstacles and this darkness within them will be overcome in time. And it's really kind of the thought of you moving on, or if this person really, hesitates and is taking their time with all of this, that it could open them up to the chance of losing you forever. This is really acting as a motivator to this person. It's fuel for them, maybe not avoiding looking at some of these shadows, or avoiding doing some of this work, doing some of this brutal honesty with themselves about the role in which they've played in relationships in the past, in this relationship, in circumstances, things that they can correct within themselves to kind of maximize the odds of success in the future in a variety of ways. And so there's almost a sense of really time not being on their side in this capacity, that the longer that they hesitate and the longer that they avoid some of this deep and heavy lifting within the soul, this work to really ascend and transcend the way that they've been showing up in their life and in the world and in this relationship previously, that they really need to take a very proactive and work at a steady pace at kind of moving beyond these fears, sort of tying up these loose ends, breaking some of these cycles, learning some new skills, building that confidence within themselves, and really practicing self-love that energetically and perhaps even in the 3D sense they've really witnessed you doing for in your own life, and that you have gone through a shift. Things have maybe gotten really good for you. Abundance is pouring in. You're looking good. You're feeling good. Your attitude, your aura, your energy, everything is just very clean and uplifted. It could be a stark contrast to maybe some of what was weighing you down previously or kind of functioning as an obstacle for you. And it's something where there's a lot of motivation for this person to really get in alignment with that. Get in the program with that, kind of do those same things in their life to achieve similar results, and kind of move beyond this sort of stuck stage that they find themselves with, kind of entrapped within these walls of fear within their own mind and within their own heart, and time definitely being of the essence they are feeling to do this. And they also say, I'm ready to take my mask off and be real with you. So that's more of that energy of the facade and kind of this hesitation about letting you in. I feel this person really vacillates between being vulnerable, exposing all of themselves, and just for the sheer sake of honesty, for understanding that you, in order to truly love somebody, you really need to understand the complete picture of who they are. That if this person previously had just really made the effort to put their best foot forward, tried to kind of hide or deflect from some of their less desirable qualities, or periods when emotional vulnerability was really suggested, when you were really on the brink of that, when that was really getting ready to unfold, and then they may have kind of pushed you away, run from this connection, trying to kind of stay hidden, stay within that shadow and kind of that superficial layer of what they were presenting to you. A sense of being very controlled over what they are allowing you see into them and of them. That this is something this person is really, again, in this process of facing these shadows, transcending these shadows, and really feeling this push, this urge to do this work, to achieve different results than they have previously with you and in their life in general. So I'm going to get the final 3 messages for you, group 1 from this person. Okay, and they say, your light still shines brightly on me. So that's that energy of, energetically witnessing this shift within you, being really pulled, really compelled to follow suit in their own life, to kind of close out some cycles or some patterns, to transcend some ways of operating or belief systems or habits or behaviors, in order to step into that best version of self. And this is something which they're either seeing this, and it's really acting as an inspiration to them, or they could just be feeling this energetically within you, and their soul is really calling them to kind of follow, to move in that same direction, because they're recognizing that there's a lightness, kind of these burdens or this heaviness that they've been carrying around, maybe these residual wounds that have just kind of been sitting there and festering within them, holding them back from really expressing their authentic self and experiencing love and joy to the fullest capacity. That this is something which, they feel to be somebody who's really tired of that cycle, tired of that way of being, somebody who maybe has been tired for a while but really didn't recognize a way out of that, had just kind of accepted with a sense of apathy that this was the way that their life was going to be. But you definitely have operated as an inspiration to this person. The work that you've done on yourself and you continue to do on yourself really is that roadmap. It's shining. It's showing the way forward to this person of an alternative, a different path to choose. Work that might be very difficult and might be very scary to do. Things, shadows to really uncover and look at and be very honest about, to accept and kind of transcend. This is definitely heavy lifting. This is heavy work. This is not an easy feat, which is why a lot of people in their lifetime choose to avoid it. But the rewards on the other side of that, of kind of going through that struggle, leaning into that process of surrender, allowing the parts of oneself that, you know, are not in alignment with the kind of highest version of them to kind of let that fall by the wayside and allow that sort of that silence, that space for the new to kind of be cultivated and to grow and to germinate from within. That this person is really seeing that whole process, it, you know, seeing through your example, even just your energetic example, that on the other side of that there is hope. That on the other side of that fear is this very tangible possibility of something better than they have experienced up to this point. And they also say, I want you here with me. So again, this energy of longing, I feel that this also really is tying into longing to make the changes that are necessary within themselves, within their life, within their mindset, within their heart, that are going to lead them to kind of lifting their vibration, to meet you at a level in which you will both be compatible once again, compatible in a higher form than you were previously, where it's kind of the conditions being created for the optimal success moving forward in this situation. And they also say, I never should have let you go. So definitely this person thinking back on what happened in the past, recognizing that any ways in which they may have pushed you away or run from this connection was definitely very fear-based, stemming from a place of really wanting to hide behind a mask, not let anybody in, trying to kind of keep these wounded parts of them secret from themselves, secret from others. But it's something to where it feels like somebody who could only run for so long. And they really have gotten into this place of being very almost sick and tired of the way that their life is, wanting change, almost praying or asking for that guidance for change. And it feels like somebody who has really recognized a route to change via you, via the changes that you've made that they are able to observe or energetically perceive, as kind of a, you know, a window that has opened where they previously only saw a wall, only saw a barricade, you know, didn't really see a way out, couldn't see a way beyond their circumstances or the types of circumstances or experiences that kept repeating themselves. But this is somebody who is, you know, there's a hand almost reaching out through that void, an energetic hand of kind of a new way of being, the work that's necessary to kind of move them beyond, move them into a place where different results are possible, where a different series of experiences and emotions are available to them. And so this is somebody who really feels on this brink of really pushing through that fear, transcending that fear. They're at the stage of acknowledging that, and acknowledgement is the first step in a process like this, to recognize that there is a problem, and then to open oneself up to possibilities and finding creative solutions to fix that. So definitely somebody who's in a very transitional energy right now, but it feels like transition for the better as far as this connection is concerned. Somebody who really understands that growth is necessary, that to remain as they are is to remain stagnant, that nothing will change. And so somebody who is recognizing a journey is at hand, and somebody who's following you energetically, following your light in terms of navigating their way through their own darkness. So definitely keep doing what you're doing, keep working on yourself, for yourself, but then understanding also that energetically you're really inspiring this person, you're inspiring other people to really transcend circumstances that may have seemed kind of hopeless or very deeply entrenched. You're a living example that there really can be beauty on the other side of pain. So I'm going to get some initials for you now, group one. This can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or can spell something out. Okay, so we have E, M, D, J, G, V, A, Q, Z, and R. So those are your messages, group 1. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the video. If you like the reading, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. So I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 2. You chose the purple fluorite. So I'm going to be getting 3 cards from 3 different decks. So let's take a look and see, what does this person want you to know from their higher self, group 2. Okay, and they say you are not forgotten. So this person is still holding a flame for you, still holding a very special place for you in their heart if you are in no contact or separation from them. They may be putting on kind of the presentation that everything is very much fine and okay in their life, that they're happy where they are, they're happy with where their life is headed, with the people that are in their life. They may be putting on this kind of exterior that they haven't given this connection a second thought, that it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, and from their higher self they're letting you know that that's just a facade. The truth of their heart, the truth of their soul is very different from what they are presenting. That you still are occupying a very special place within them, place of high honor within them that cannot be filled by anybody else, and it feels like a place that they are not trying to fill with anybody else. Although other people may fill their life currently, they may even be in other romantic connections. There's a very sacred place within them that is reserved only for you. And they also say, teach me how to love. So this person could definitely have some difficulties with emotional vulnerability. They may not have been shown the best examples of healthy reciprocal love growing up, and so they feel almost ill-equipped to show up in that capacity in relationships. This could have been something which really triggered them when you were last together, in terms of kind of a fear of disappointing you, sort of this energy of kind of pushing you away before you could push them away, feeling that there's some kind of a deficiency within them, that what they may have to offer to you is not good enough, that who they are deep within them is not good enough. This is somebody who may really need to kind of work on their self-love. They could be somebody who really kind of entertains people and circumstances that don't really serve their highest good, merely just to have people around, to have people in their life. This could be somebody who has people-pleasing tendencies, has this kind of inclination to water themselves down or compromise in direct contrast with the truth of their heart, their true desires, in order to maintain some kind of status quo, to keep certain individuals happy. Maybe this has to do with friends or something with like a family expectation. Somebody who is not necessarily living in alignment with their highest good, with their truth. And it's something to where they're looking to you as quite the opposite of that, that in some way at this point in time, you've worked to really align yourself with that. You may have really cut away toxic relationships, one-sided relationships. You may have worked on some issues with codependency in your own life, in your own experience. And this person is really recognizing, if they see you from afar, or picking up on this energetically, kind of the shift that has taken place within you, that by sort of cutting things away from your life, you have essentially raised your vibration. You have kind of let loose some of the fetters that were holding you down in this lower sort of density, and you've allowed yourself to sort of rise beyond circumstances, rise beyond the parameters of what you were experiencing previously, or what others were projecting onto you in terms of expectations. And it's something that this person is really looking to, that, wanting to emulate that in their own life, kind of move out from beyond this facade, this mask, that everything's okay, that nothing bothers them, that they've got it all figured out. And there's this desire to make that a reality in a very true sense, that kind of the life they are living now, it's merely, it's an illusion. It's the illusion of maybe what others would deem as success or happiness for them, but that there's some kind of core factor that that the life they're living, or the people they're surrounding themselves with, or what they are presenting to the world is not actually in alignment with the truth of who they are. And so they're really looking to you as an example, and hoping you can kind of lead them into that space of recalibration, in order to really be demonstrating something to the exterior world that is in direct alignment with the truth of their soul and kind of this interior landscape. And they also say, I took advantage of you. So this could be somebody who is acknowledging that maybe they took advantage of your kindness, of your patience in the past. They kind of took the connection for granted as well. Maybe made you feel that you were the problem, or you weren't good enough, or that there was something lacking in you that was kind of causing this sort of discontent within this person. And all of that really stemming again from this kind of this projection that you were offering this person almost the possibility of shifting outside of the comfort zone, outside of the life that they'd constructed, or the life that was most pleasing to others around them, whose opinions they take into account heavily. And so it's something where they may have really kind of pushed you away, pushed this connection away, really filled you with this sense of rejection, a sense that you weren't good enough, in order to kind of deflect from this urge within themselves to let some things go, to kind of follow in the direction that the love and the energy was really leading them. And so it's something that from their higher self, they feel bad about that. They feel bad about maybe kind of making promises that they weren't able to keep to you, or giving you some kind of false impression that it was something on your end really led to kind of the dissolution of the connection, when in fact it really stems from somebody who was trying to kind of maintain this facade or this mask, somebody who's clinging very much to a comfort zone. So let's see, what else does this person have to say, group 2? Okay, and they say, I need more time to heal and love myself. So that's that energy of really breaking away from some codependency, some toxic patterns, some habits or lifestyles or people even that are in their life that are keeping their vibration low, kind of a lack of reciprocity going on there. And so there's this desire to change, but also this knowledge that this person has that it's going to take some work to get there, that as things are really released and let go, then sort of part and parcel with that process is allowing time to process any kind of feelings of betrayal or disappointment, loss or anger, sadness that go along with that, with kind of shifting away from what was known and was comfortable. So as much as this feels like somebody who wants to move back in your direction, they're understanding that some kind of transformation on a deep and multi-layered level must take place within them first. And they also say, the thought of you with someone else drives me insane. So this really ties in with that energy of you are not forgotten, that as much as they may present this kind of exterior of not really caring, having no feelings for you, maybe this is something they directly said to you even, that they didn't feel the same way, that they didn't feel the connection. Deep within them, this connection is very real. You hold a very sacred and special place in this person's heart. And they're at this place though in their life right now where they almost feel that as much as they would hate the idea of somebody else really seizing the opportunity to be with you in love, to kind of exchange in a reciprocal manner in that energy, as much as that really bothers them, they're not at a place of being able to do much about that, to really bring that truth out through corrected actions, to really step forth and speak what's on their mind. Instead, this is almost an energy of keeping that very secret, having this fear that they may miss out on this opportunity with you in the future, recognizing to some degree that the ways in which they kind of pushed you away or chose to maintain sort of this illusion, this comfort zone in the past, really sabotaged the opportunity for happiness. And it was one of these examples of kind of actions that were not in alignment with the truth of their heart. And so the situation with you and the circumstances they find themselves in now, kind of at a separation from you with no contact, this almost feels like a catalyst for change with this person. This is almost like the final straw with this person in maybe a series of things or a pattern throughout their life of really compromising their truth, what it is that they want and desire out of this need or this sense of obligation to present a certain image to the world or to live up to a certain expectation that others had set for them, to fill a role that others had really created and dictated to them as well. And they also say, I don't want to lose your love. I'm afraid I might lose you. So more of that energy of really fearing that somebody else will recognize all of these wonderful qualities about you that they cherish and that they really appreciate deep within, even if they are not expressing this to you or have really expressed something contrary to you. This feels like somebody who is very much torn between kind of remaining the same, remaining stuck, remaining living in this life of illusion, or taking that bold step or steps to really exit that comfort zone, to really assert their truth to those around them, to really sort of let a lot of things go and reformulate their life from a core level, kind of a multi-layered level, in order to move toward this connection, move toward this desire that they have for you, and also in other ways in their life, things that, dreams they may have deferred, or paths that had not been chosen or had been discontinued or discarded in the interest of, again, kind of fitting into this mold of what others expected for them. So let me get the last three messages for you. Group 2, excuse me. Okay, and they say, I miss your warmth. So again, more of that truth of their heart, that despite what they are projecting to you, any kind of coldness or being very aloof, being very unbothered by the separation, that's very far from the truth of their soul. And they say, so many songs remind me of you. So you could both be speaking to each other through song lyrics at this time, or this person could be listening to songs that were significant to your connection the last time that you were with them, maybe songs that you sent them. They're also, I feel, really listening maybe to kind of love songs or things that are really putting them into that space, as they were saying, asking you to, teach them how to love. Kind of focusing more on that vibration, that warmth, that feeling of truth within them, this feeling of sanctuary within them that is perhaps very much kind of the soundtrack to that. They're being very, deliberate with what it is that they're listening to, dropping down into that heart space, allowing themselves to kind of feel that truth as sort of an escape or a sanctuary from whatever other circumstances they have going on in their life, which feels very, very cold and inauthentic to them. And so the more that they spend that time kind of in that warmth, in that truth, in the heart space within them, that can definitely be this motivation that pushes them to move beyond barriers that they have established for themselves. And they also say, I want to feel your hand in mine. So more of that energy of this desire for closeness, this desire to reunite, to move beyond any iciness, barriers, or walls that are between you currently. To really step into this place where, they almost come to you, I feel, with open arms, very unencumbered from the things that may have been holding them back in the past, including belief systems or the opinions or views of others. Somebody who really wants to kind of work to sort of shed these outdated layers or patterns within themselves. Not necessarily having the courage yet to do that, but definitely this desire, kind of retreating into that space within, that space of truth within them that is really helping them to distinguish kind of the sensation between this very sacred place where they keep you within their heart. And then when they kind of emerge from that, they're able to feel that contrast, that distinct vibrational contrast between others that may have in their life, or the life itself that they've created, and really understanding how far out of alignment they are, that their life is, that the world that they've constructed for themselves, and that they are, participating in and continuing to build. And so this feels like somebody that is kind of working their way up to this point of enough is enough. That slowly but surely, kind of piece by piece, they can start to relinquish the hold that some of these things that no longer resonate with them or don't vibrate with their truth kind of holds. This feels like somebody on the brink of starting to declutter their life, declutter their heart, in order to really open up space and room to be able to bring in the vibration which is in alignment with them, bring in experiences which match up with the truth of who they are, and somebody who definitely in kind of the core of themselves wants to sort of orchestrate circumstances or free up the space in their life, free up the space in kind of their mind, in their belief systems even, that allows room for this connection to be revisited and to flourish in the ways in which it may have previously been kind of stifled or pushed away prematurely, perhaps. So I'm going to get some initials for you now, group 2. This could be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Okay, so we have I, M, J, F, N, R, G, Y, W, Q, and O. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the video. If you like the reading, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. So I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 3. You chose the Aventurine heart. So I'm going to be getting 3 cards from 3 different decks. So let's see, what does your person want you to know from their higher self for group 3? Okay, and they say, I don't understand these feelings I have. So this could be somebody that is kind of going through a dark night of the soul currently. They may have been propelled onto this ascension journey, kind of triggered or instigated by this connection. Some kind of heart chakra activation, kundalini awakening may have happened, a spiritual awakening for this person. They're really in the process of kind of being bombarded almost from the inside out with a lot of different experiences, a lot of different energies, parts of themselves waking up. The intensity that they are feeling in terms of the bond between you may also be a little confusing for them. Some telepathy could be going on that is very much outside of the ordinary of what they have experienced in relationships in the past, or just kind of their understanding of maybe what is possible in a connection between 2 people. This could also be something where kind of the intensity of the draw, this magnetism towards you, which may have been experienced quite suddenly for this person, kind of this depth of feeling and emotion. It's very much outside of their experiences of love previously, where maybe love needed time to grow, or feelings never reached this depth, even for people that they were connected to for quite a while. And so something about this, just the intensity, very quick duration in which this pace is increased, or kind of the longevity of these feelings that they have for you. If you've been in no contact with this person or separation from this person for a while, and they're still feeling you, they're feeling this, your energy, they're still feeling such a volume of love for you that could be quite confusing for them. They're not understanding why after all this time they can't forget you. They can't get you out of their mind. They can't get you out of their heart. And they also say nobody compares to you. So more of that energy of this experience, this intensity of the feelings, the love, the sensations, that it's really something, it's quite unusual. It's quite extraordinary for them. The intensity of the love that they feel for you also, I feel, far exceeds that even relationships that they may have been in previously, where they were with somebody for years perhaps. There was time for that love to kind of develop, a lot of shared experiences, to where even people that they may have considered, the love of their life, it feels that the sensation that they have for you far exceeds that, in a way that might be quite unexplainable to this person. Again, I'm getting this sense of, maybe you weren't connected to them for that long, but it has perhaps then been a long time since you were last connected. And so to still feel this, to feel the intensity of this so powerfully, that has perhaps even increased over time, increased over the separation, that it's quite unusual for them. If this is somebody who has maybe even tried to date other people, explore other romantic connections since you went into separation with them, they're not having that same level of resonance with other souls that they are coming into contact with. They're not able to really tap into that depth of feeling, that depth of also this knowingness, this soul knowing, this recognition that exists between the both of you, that may have really been felt by this person very early on, or perhaps even immediately, that now that part of them has been awakened, this feels like somebody who is, they're almost experiencing disappointments in which other connections with people, it's not hitting into those very deep levels within themselves. There's nobody that is really able to match up to that. They're not able to mimic that same kind of ethereal quality that they have with you. And so it's something where they're really focusing on that. They're very curious, very confused about that, perhaps exploring that, maybe looking into this online. They could be watching tarot readings, coming across terms like soulmate, like twin flame. These things are really resonating with them. And somebody who's really seeking to understand this, kind of the depth of things, why they're still experiencing that, and what it means for them. And they also say, I know I let you down. So this could be somebody who definitely ran from that intensity. Things could have been going really well between you. You could have really felt vibrationally on the same page. The telepathy could have been strong. Kind of the synchronicities could have been really strong. And instead of, kind of remaining with that, in sync with that, in tandem with that, this person could have kind of fled away into this energy of fear, kind of trying to push this away. And it's something which, they're recognizing in hindsight that almost if they could go back and do it differently, they would have stuck things out with you to explore this together, to really experience more of the depth of this, to try to figure out this enigma side by side, as opposed to kind of just leave you with the sense of disappointment, maybe leaving you with a sense of calling into question your own feelings, calling into question, your own intuition. For some of you, even your own sanity in this case, what it is that you're feeling, and if this person is really denying that, really, questioning, are you just making all of this up? What's the point of all of this? What does this mean? Experiencing kind of that letdown and that disappointment when this person is really, denying things, the truth of what they're feeling being quite contrary to what they were presenting to you. And so from their higher self, they're acknowledging that that was kind of, it was motivated from fear, but it was sort of unnecessary heartbreak and confusion that, their actions kind of contributed to an already very kind of perplexing and very deep and multi-layer situation between the both of you. So let's get some more messages, group 3, and see what does this person want to say. Okay, and we have, you are my 2 of Cups, you are my soulmate. So that was coming up just now. This person may be looking into researching soul connections, coming across terms like soulmate, like twin flame, starting to recognize the depth of what they are feeling for you, the complexity, kind of the layers within themselves that are really being exposed as well, kind of these deeper layers of love, and not really being able to replicate that in other connections, looking back on previous connections and understanding that even the deepest ones, even the ones that felt the most impactful to them, couldn't really hold a candle to what they are experiencing with you. And so as this person is really in this process of kind of unraveling this mystery within themselves, the mystery between the both of you, maybe tapping more into that telepathy where they could have really tried to stay silent or shut that down. This feels like somebody who is starting to kind of experiment with that, starting to kind of lean into that, almost sending those messages from afar, those messages of love, attempting to kind of reinvigorate that connection, that form of communication between you, this telepathy even between the hearts, really acknowledging as opposed to trying to distract or run from this very tangible energetic bond that they feel with you. And so somebody who also feels like they are in this process of wanting to find their way back to you. Acknowledging disappointment that may have happened in the past. So fear could be holding them back a little bit, that by sort of rejecting you, or making you again kind of call into question your intuition and what you're feeling. Not really sure, are you making this up? Is this real? Does this person feel this too? Then perhaps denying things in direct contrast to the truth, the actuality of what they're feeling and what they're experiencing. That fear of how to kind of move beyond those barriers, how to kind of undo some of this damage and sort of step into this fresh energy. This person doesn't really necessarily see a way forward at this point in time. So although this desire is there, this recognition is there, this certainty is growing within this person, they may not be able to recognize at this point a path forward to kind of bypass the energy that you find yourselves in currently. And they also say, I'll make it up to you if you let me. I promise you that I'm going to be better. So more of this energy of really wanting to kind of correct the mistakes of the past, move beyond where you find yourselves in terms of the 3D circumstances, somebody who is opening up energetically to this connection, starting to operate with a sense of trust and a sense of belief and faith rather than denial of this connection and what it is that they're experiencing. Somebody who kind of armed maybe even with this knowledge that they are obtaining, that's really resonating with them about soul connections, about twin flame soulmates, with this new kind of understanding that yes, in fact, this connection is very unique. Yes, it is different from anything else they've experienced before. In the case of a twin flame, very unique and singular in that experience. It's something that they will not be able to replicate elsewhere. It's a very specifically designed kind of dynamic just between the both of you. That this is somebody who is leaning into that energy, wanting to kind of work with this energy as opposed to really push this away or deny this. And they also say, I need more time to heal and love myself. So this person is still pretty far down the rabbit hole, or maybe several rabbit holes, where they still have more they need to figure out. Kind of the more they are uncovering things, the more answers that they're getting, that sort of unlocks further mysteries about who they are, what this means, what love means, what connections mean, soul, existence. So this definitely feels like somebody who is on a journey, somebody who's in this energy of the seeker. Almost this energy of the fool, setting out on multiple journeys, kind of finding answers only to discover new paths that they're choosing to kind of progress on. And incorporated with that, in addition to all this kind of information and knowledge that they're getting that's really making sense, they're also somebody who is they are encountering some shadows within themselves, kind of like this energy here about knowing they let you down. So some fear, maybe some energies of self-sabotage that they're having to really address. They're being forced to kind of look at these things in order to transcend these things and to acquire even some new skills, healing some of that kind of wounding or that trauma from the past that has caused them to maybe be closed off or skeptical of love, kind of maybe not trusting their own intuition or their own discernment, which could have caused them to really push, this connection away in the past. Definitely a sense of the two of you mirroring some of these concepts. So where they may not have trusted their own intuition or discernment or what they were feeling, and then their actions then resulted in you experiencing that same sensation of questioning your own intuition, your own feeling. What if, is what you're feeling real? And so the both of you kind of on these separate but parallel paths of, acknowledging the shadow, transcending the shadow in its multiple kind of guises and layers, and then also sort of deepening this understanding of self, of the nature of this connection and what this means and what you both would like to build toward ultimately, individually, and in terms of a potential future between you. So I'm going to get the final 3 messages for you, group 3. What does this person want to say? Okay, and they say, I'm not quite ready to give you what you deserve. So more of that energy of needing to take this time to face some more of those shadows, transcend some of that, learn more about themselves as well. Somebody who's in this process of really understanding all facets of themselves, learning to accept themselves on multiple levels. Somebody who's integrating that shadow into their light as well, kind of in this process of achieving and attaining that wholeness within themselves. A journey, a parallel path that you also are most likely participating in and have been participating in. You're both energetically supporting yourself through this process, or each other through this process, so that when that place of wholeness is kind of reached and embodied and maintained within, it creates the optimal chance or the optimal conditions for a very successful union and partnership together further down the road. And they also say, I really miss our playful banter. So as much as there might be some kind of heavy and deep topics, energies, sensations that this person is feeling, there is this desire to also kind of return to when things were simpler between you. Kind of a desire also to move between any kind of heaviness and confusion and a sense of loss and disappointment, and really reach that goal of a very uplifted energy, the potential for, creating happier times together, happier memories, or kind of getting back into alignment with where you were, this aspect of connectedness that at some point in time really triggered this person, really kind of spooked this person, and they may have run from this connection, and then kind of it snowballed into this this kind of energy of really confusion and facing shadows and having to kind of dig and search for answers and sort of glean and piece together truth out of bits of information that you're discovering, or downloads that are happening. And so this desire again with this person to kind of continue to move through this journey, continue to move toward that aspect of healing within them, so that further down the road, there's a higher likelihood of greater success and longevity in this connection. And they also say, you shook up my life in the best way. So that is definitely that energy of some kind of an awakening, or many different awakenings on multiple levels within this person that took place, very much instigated by this connection. So if you yourself have been on an ascension journey, you've gone through some kind of spiritual awakening, kundalini awakening, heart chakra activation, third eye chakra activation, just all different kinds of, experiences happening, awareness of yourself as a multi-layer, multi-dimensional being, even without this person really, comparing notes with you at this point. This is definitely a confirmation from their higher self that they have gone through this kind of a similar experience as you. They're sitting in that same energy, these same kind of upgrades and the same transformational process and energy. It's permeating them. It's changing them. Some of them may be very silent about this. They may be very good at kind of presenting this exterior of everything being fine, but on the inside, there's a lot changing. There's a lot kind of metamorphosizing. There's a lot of information that they may be taking in very quietly, but it's sinking in. It's making sense. They're digesting it. They're sort of somebody who's transforming from the inside out. And if they haven't already, this feels like somebody who is kind of on the brink of making those transformations in their lifestyle, in their habits, in the way that they're showing up in the world as well, to really kind of mirror what is going on within them. That change from the inside, takes up it, creates such velocity that then the outside world must also necessarily change to kind of reach that wholeness, reach that harmony, kind of bring into alignment these different aspects of this individual. So definitely, for group 3 here, this is an energy of change. There's a lot of information being taken in. There's a lot that's making sense. Somebody who may have been running from the intensity of this connection is really, they're at a point now of surrender and of exploration. They may have been kind of skeptical before, but now their curiosity has really been piqued. They're coming across some information or even getting some downloads that things are really making sense. The pieces are starting to fit together. And the more that things are starting to be revealed to this person, it's almost creating this thirst for more understanding, leaning more into this, recognizing the benefits of this connection, the benefits of this experience energetically for them. And so 2 people who are most likely on this kind of parallel journey of coming into self-acceptance, self-love, and wholeness, so that further down the road there, when your paths cross again, there's a greater chance of success in this connection, as 2 very self-aware, very healed and integrated people are then able to kind of meet each other at this higher vibrational level of understanding and experience. So I'm going to get some initials for you now, group 3. This can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Okay, so we have V, T, S, Y, A, J, D, H, R, and P. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the video. If you like the reading, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. So I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.